Working with folders. What are folders all about in DocSafe and why do we have them? Let's go to a client. Let's go to Vancouver House. If you remember, we can create folders within a client manually or by having a template that we previously set up in company settings. The reason we have folders is so that we can organize all the files we want to make available to this particular client account. You can create folders at top level. You can have subfolders. So if you go within a folder, you can create a subfolder within it. But the principal aim of folders is to organize the files, and also if you have multiple users on an account, it could be used to restrict access to different types of files. So you can place files in a folder that one or more users do not have access to, but are still part of the client. We talked in the past about how we upload documents, but let's have a look at some of the options you've got for folders. If you use the drop-down menu against the folder, you'll see the first option, other than upload documents, is to request a form fill. We talked about that in a tutorial called How Do I Create an Editable Form, where documents can be filled in. That's where you choose to upload a dynamic form. You can choose to download the entire contents of this folder to your own machine. So everything inside that folder will come down in one go. You can move this folder, this entire folder, inside another folder, provided it's within the same client. Furthermore, you can move merely the contents of this folder into another folder. Again, it has to be within the same client. Probably the most popular option is folder access. This is where you can give different access rights to different folders to different combinations of users. In this example, I have 3 users, all of whom can access this folder, but I merely, for one click of a button, could turn Tom off and save, and now Tom no longer has access to this particular folder called Due Diligence. You'll also notice that we have restricted user access because of the name attached to this folder. Everybody means both the client, all the contacts at the client, the users, and the staff can have access to this particular folder. Anything that says staff and user list is some sort of restriction. Now the user restrictions, as we've spoken about before, can be at a user level, so we can have any combination of users associated with this folder, and we can do it for staff. Now this is a very, very special function, and we don't really use it very often, but if you wish to create private folders for the client to use and access only on their own behalf, so the staff at your company, your firm, cannot access them, you press No. That then gives you a one-time opportunity to give this private folder to the client so they can store their own documents and their own material in there without access by you or any of your staff. Because DocSafe is in a live cloud environment, you're in that connection, you'll notice that there are 50 documents in this folder, but we know that only 28 of them haven't yet been read by the client. So after we've looked at the access rights over a folder, we could rename that folder at any stage, and we could delete the entire contents of that folder with one click. So just to recap, in this drop-down menu, you can create dynamic forms, download the entire contents, move folders, move contents, give different access rights to different users on the same account, and obviously they have to be on the same account, and you can rename or delete this folder. So there's a lot of admin rights in here and permissions that you can access, but don't forget, it all takes place in this drop-down menu. To save space, it's neat, and we also put the Upload Documents button on top because it's the most commonly used button out of all of them on this particular drop-down. So that's the end of the tutorial on folders, but just remember, every client has folders, and the way that you restrict permissions over files, predominantly, is to give different access rights to different folders and place those files in folders you don't want certain client users to have access to.